My cousin sends our family her child's Christmas list each year, and it's completely insane, by user Panda Hales. Every November I, 24F, receive a dreaded text in our extended family group chat from my cousin, 35F. The text includes a highly detailed Christmas list from her 5-year-old, who we'll call Penny. The items are always expensive, obscure, and very hard to find. Additionally, she expects us to reply with the item we have purchased, then sends back the updated list with that item checked off. Each year there's exactly the number of items for people in the chat, and once people hurry to claim the cheapest ones, you are left with $100 to $300 items to choose from. My cousin is an only child and her mom caters to this, as well as her dad, but the rest of us are getting pretty sick of it. Last year someone didn't follow the list and said they'd already bought something else in the group chat, and she responded that isn't what Penny wants this year, which made them feel guilty for not adhering to this insanity. Now some backstory. Penny has autism, is nonverbal, and the sweetest child ever. My cousin and her husband are good parents for the most part, but they are a little self-focused. For example, they are both collectors of things like manga and toys and lose their minds if Penny touches their things, and the home is full of their collections. They have an entire room dedicated to this, which they call the fun room, and their daughter isn't allowed in. Not so fun. Now here's the kicker. The items on the list are almost always part of a collection. Either vintage certain edition this or that, and tons of Beanie Babies. They have started a toy collection similar to their own for Penny, but it's a lot of things I've never seen her enjoy or show much interest in. One year the most excitement she showed was for the box, and she loves Disney movies and Paw Patrol, but never has she gotten gifts related to these things. Also, we suggested some gifts like a toy kitchen or something interactive and sensory, and they shut that down in favor of expensive Lego. Star Wars Lego? She's 5. I know damn well that's going straight to Daddy's fun room. This year I'm getting her an Ariel doll and matching dress. I'm stopping the madness. Cross post from /amethysthole entitled Mother Demands Her Toddler Use an Extra Seat That OP Paid For, by user Kabukistar. Text of original post follows. I34F obese. I'm actively working toward losing weight and I've made progress, but I'm still obese as I'm typing this. I'm going over to see my brother and his husband for Christmas across the country, and because I'm fat, I booked an extra seat so everyone can be more comfortable. I know it sucks having to pay for an extra seat, but it is what it is. I know Southwest Airlines has this customer of size policy, but I've had some bad experiences with Southwest even before I was obese, so I wasn't doing that, and it's mostly my fault I even got fat. Everything goes smoothly from checking into security and boarding, at least at first. This woman comes to my row with a boy who appeared to be about a year old. She told me to squeeze into one seat so her son could sit in the other. She told me, not asked. I told her no and that I paid for the seat for the extra space. She makes a big fuss over it, which got the flight attendant's attention. She told the flight attendant I was stealing the seat from her son, then I showed my boarding passes, proving that I, in fact, paid for the extra seat. The flight attendant asked me if I could try to squeeze in, but I said no, that I wanted the extra seat I paid for. The boy, who the mom said is 18 months old, was supposed to sit in her lap so he could do just that. The flight attendant eventually told the mom to put her son in her lap. I got dirty looks and passive-aggressive remarks from her for the entire flight, and I do feel a little bad because the boy looked hard to control, so Edit, I did not fly SWA. My mother got rude with a friend of mine and wonders why we won't help her, by user Najaneo101. My mother just assumes that my friends are just there to take her BS, and I just waited until one of my friends just yelled at her. My friend, Tyler, can be entitled, but right now my mother is the entitled one. She just expects my friends to take her abuse and just roll with it. Tyler decided to tell me he won't be watching her dog and cats on the next vacation. I was frustrated because now my mother expects me to use my PTO and stay up at her house to watch the animals because, as she said it, I do not have plans. Newsflash, the vacation isn't until July, and the first weekend where I will be at a convention, and I already paid for the tickets. I told my mother, who just said, well, can't you just go the week after? I told her that conventions don't work like that, and she's going to have to pay a pet hotel because I am not going to give up PTO to be a pet sitter. I also had to remind her that I am a grown-ass adult and have a life. She's still acting all entitled and like I owe her something, which I don't. She doesn't seem to understand that she is acting like a jerk. It's almost Christmas and she has the gall to demand my PTO be used for her vacation. I am saving my PTO and I want to use it for either emergencies or a time for myself. To sum it up, my entitled mother mouthed off to a friend and then decides I have to make time for her. Parents living in my home for the last 5 years is over, by user no_solution 6970. I am a 100% permanently disabled US Army vet. My parents have been living with me in my Alaskan home for the last 5 years. They've paid me nothing for rent during all this time. Not even for electricity. And my mother makes over $140,000 a year. I have included a few recordings of the things they've said. I was complaining to my dad I can't afford organic food that he wants to eat cause I need to buy food everyone can eat. But I hate the food they buy. I said poor people can't afford organic food at 16:28. My dad says what are poor people spending their money on? I said I'm paying my home and electricity and I can't afford expensive food. My mom had me trade in my cheap $250/MO car for a brand new Jeep Gladiator. She said you absolutely need it here in Alaska and they have their own Gladiator. She had me pay $600/MO for the last 2 years to her while she was driving it to work every day. I've only been able to drive it 3 times in 2023 so far because they've been hiding the keys. I told my dad I don't even have keys to my own house. He said I have a spare outside I can use, it's in one of the recordings somewhere. I found out I was a CO signer not the borrower on the Jeep too. I have no legal right to the vehicle. And it has disabled veteran license plates. My mom refuses to tell me the bank the loan's through so I can request a CO signer removal. In 2020 I had a falling out with them. I wanted them to move out badly. I didn't know how to legally remove them so I threw all their belongings in the trash while they both were gone on a business trip. They called the cops on me and I was jailed. The charges were dropped but I refused to move back into the house with them. My mother successfully got a power of attorney over my finances even though I had a VA fiduciary. I had a nervous breakdown from all the manipulation they've been doing to me and felt trapped like I couldn't escape my own damn home. I was homeless for a few months and never received an apology. Nothing. I moved back with them after a few months being homeless, losing my backpack and wallet. Everything I had. Had to call them to mail me my passport and a plane ticket back home. This year my mother made me split a $2,500 plane ticket for her mom to come visit and buy new couches for the living room. All this is documented. When I first moved into my house with them, my dad asked me to request money from my fiduciary to buy firewood for the wood stove. After I received about $900 he said he needed it to buy metal to build his own trailer and that we can cut our own firewood to save money. Since they've lived here with me since 2018, they have bought new in cash, 2 snowmobiles, 4-wheeler, side-by-side and 3 military Humvees. Totaling around $70,000. All this is in the recordings as proof. I'm hiring an attorney to evict them. I found a free one in Alaska that helps disabled veterans. I'll keep you guys posted. Here are some other recordings of their bullshit. Only driven Jeep I was paying for 2 times in 2023. Want me to sell my home and move north. My dad saying look for the benefit of others. They want to buy another snowmobile. I'm stopping to pay the Jeep they said was mine. I have no friends. Hopefully a miracle happens and I can get my life back on track. Edit. I did contact ALSC Law in Alaska and left a message detailing all this. Just waiting for a call back to see if I qualify. EDIT2. They do pay for my cell phone bill. They also asked me to put my homeowner's insurance on their insurance policy, which I did so they save money, I still pay. EDIT3. My home is 800 SQFT. They have the master bedroom. I live in a 6x10 room. And they have 5 dogs. They feed them ground beef, fresh potatoes, salmon, and chicken from Costco. I'll figure out how to document this. I had a cat but he died a year ago and they refused letting me have another cat cause their dogs would attack it like they've done in the past. One of their dogs bit me in the face couple years ago when I was playing with it. Drawing blood. EDIT4. After I came back from being homeless, I offered them a renter's agreement to live in my home for $1,200 a month and if I sell the home they get 50% of the net profit. They refused. I recorded them with me saying I'm sorry for giving them the renter's agreement, thinking that the 50% was reasonable. Asking if they threw it away. They said they didn't have it anymore and accepted my apology. Verifying that I did offer that to them. EDIT5. Yesterday 12/18 I filled a revocation of power of attorney myself. One more step in the right direction. EDIT6, 12/19 6:53 am. I just submitted all this to APS in Alaska. Thank you for telling me about them. I will be leaving my home to the VA clinic tomorrow night if I don't hear from APS today. Part 2, Parents living with me for 5 years is over, by user no_solution 6970. Here's part 1 if you haven't read it. Yesterday I was able to go to the VA and speak with a social worker on everything that's been going on. I found out I can file an eviction notice without an attorney. Told him everything that I have on audio recordings. He recommended to file a no-contact order as well. I was able to get sleeping medication that I haven't had in 2 years and other meds that same day. It was so nice to speak with people that actually listen. As of today I still haven't heard from the attorney or APS. Guess the holidays or whatever. I got a new phone and ported over my old number. My mom was paying my phone and now I don't run the risk of her disconnecting my phone. Only other thing she is paying right now is YouTube TV. Still waiting on the indoor camera coming in the mail. It's delayed. Got new door locks to change once they're out. I'll record everything when I give them the notice of eviction, revoked power of attorney, give back the phone she bought for me and see how they react to it. I'll post it here. Thank you everyone for your suggestions and support. Edit, some things I forgot to mention, I've purchased 2 iPad Pros for them in the last few years. The second one was to replace another one with a broken screen. Purchased a $3,000 MacBook Pro for them few years ago. I never asked anything from them for the gifts. Few years ago I needed a laptop and they bought me a $1,200 MacBook Air and had me pay them back with my yearly Alaska PFD. Alaskans get yearly profits from oil, $1,000 to rarely $3,000. I'm going to mention all this to the judge for the reason for eviction and for not paying rent/utilities. EDIT 2, Part 3, caught my dad admitting to fraud with my VA benefits today.